Hey guys, welcome back. And as you can probably see, I've already filled in the tapestry. This is the Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age 2 background for my second playthrough, my ancillary, my additional playthrough. Yeah, I'll call it the additional playthrough, the simultaneously done additional playthrough. And there are some similarities, but mostly it's differences. I wanted to have a different background for the most part, one that differed from the previous one. And so, since I've already made the decisions, I'll just sort of walk you through the differences that I had. So, my warden was a commoner, a common female thief, rogue. Survived, but not because of the ritual. We'll get into that in a second. All right. As for companions, I romanced Lyanna, recruited Sten. Did everything was the same as Sten. Wynn as well. Wynn was my main mage. Unfortunately, Zevran betrayed me, so I had to kill him. Nathaniel Howe died. And yeah, Loghain. So I survived, but I let Loghain sacrifice himself and redeem himself by killing the archdemon. And at the same time, I was having, I guess, some sort of dalliance with Alistair. I forgot how that went, but anyway. So Alistair's mistress, but romanced Lyanna somehow. Morgan, of course, did not have the baby. I didn't want to participate in that. And this warden was certainly, I guess, if you want to use D&D terminology, more good aligned than the other one, which had who had more evil tendencies of a sort. Acquired the grimoire. I think that's pretty much the same. But so different romance. Zevran dies. And most importantly, apart from some of the companion stuff, Loghain sacrifices himself and redeems himself, but also that Morgan did not have the god baby, the god child. So that I'm imagining right now is probably a very important point. The nature of the beast, I went for sort of a compromise, or rather brokering peace. Most of the stuff I did was positive, rather than having everyone fight each other, which was kind of, I sided with the elves naturally because I was an elf. In this case, being a dwarf, I really had no party interest either way, so I thought solving it with peace between the two different warring factions was better than just siding with one, if the possibility existed. Broken Circle. I did side with the Templars, but I didn't go around. I didn't go with Cullen's crazy request. I mean, let's face it. Cullen really lost his mind. I certainly understand what happened to him when the incident went down, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Cullen, and obviously I'm not a woman, so I don't fawn over him very much. I don't really see anything particularly interesting about his character, but yeah, he really went off the deep end. So yeah, I did side with the Templars, but I didn't just kill, outright slaughter all of them, in particular because I was keeping Wynn around. I did not destroy the urn like I did with the other one. The prologue, not that much different. Well, it was different. I gave the prisoners some food and what have you. I didn't complete any of the nasty, dastardly tasks for Indenerim, the crime wave. I did kill Sir Landry. I did help Goldana, and instead of killing Marjolaine, I believe when the other one, I actually sent her away, handled the Crimson Oars. Did not finish the assassinations or complete that, really out of character for my particular warden at the time. Well, yeah, Landsmeet, the outcome was, this is the only thing that is kind of the same. An Alistair and Nora rule. The difference is, in the case of the other playthrough, the other one is, well, Loghain survives as a warden. Alistair is still king, but there's the god baby, and of course I romanced Morgan, with whom I had the god baby. Of course, we didn't. The difference in Arl Redcliffe, I had Isolde sacrifice herself, and I had Wynn go into the Fade, if I recall right, because there wasn't enough time to get the lyrium. Or at least I imagine there wasn't enough time. I was kind of desperate. But yeah, so Connor's alive, not possessed. Most people are happy with that. Battle of Denerim, obviously Loghain, he sacrifices himself. And, with that, he redeems himself to some extent. And, yeah, but he dies in the process. Of course, because, without the ritual, that's what happens. Well, we all know that Morgan survives, but once Morgan announced the weird god baby ritual to my warden was a bit taken back, and so, yeah, didn't really leave on good terms. And of course, Morgan departed the next day, or the same night actually. And when I saw her again, I stabbed the bitch, but I guess she got away and survived, of course. Warden's Keep, yeah, I kind of rejected the whole concoction as well as both of the nutcases that were going there. Both the demonic warden and the strange, well, they're both wardens, but both the weird people that were inhabiting the keep at the time, they weren't even people anymore. Paragon of Rakine, that was quite different as well. I chose the stuffy, as it was strange as a commoner that I chose Haramount, but I think the idea in the head of my warden was that somehow, being a commoner, having risen to prestige as a Grey Warden, that might have been raised to a paragon status, even that I might be able to enter into the nobility. Who knows? Obviously, the whole Marty thing, that's related to the noble dwarf quest line. But otherwise, very similar. Crucially different. Branka convinced Branka to end her own life rather than fighting Karadin with Branka. That's a big difference. Was a little bit nicer about the Ruck issue. Didn't complete Roddick's lyrium deal because I didn't tired of the criminal stuff. I think my warden wanted to get away from all that criminal nonsense, even though at some point in time she was part of that. And yeah, Stone Prisoner, everything is. Both of them, member of the house, both of them survive, and Shale was recruited. Kind of similar, though I think they both died in the other playthrough. Oh yes, and another crucial difference: Awakening only managed to protect the keep, and the warden, my particular warden, killed the architect. Yes, killed the architect because just saw the architect as being too much danger. Now, quite a different Hawk. This Hawk was much more of a badass, a two-handed, actually he was a two-handed warrior Hawk, male Hawk. Romance Isabella also saved her ass from the Kunari. Bethany became a circle mage, and Bertrand actually was not killed. Both are friends with Varric. We discover the cause of the haunting. Didn't keep the lyrium idol. Yeah, that's probably, although, you know what? The whole point of this, right, is to just change stuff up. So let's have him keep it in this case. I'm just curious to see how that's going to affect things. Because he's going to be in the game. He's a major, he's a companion, right? If he kept the lyrium, that could be really interesting. So we'll have to see. Recruited Isabella. Isabella returned to Hawk, and no, in this case, I did not give it her to Arishok because she was my love interest. Fenris is alive and well. I was on cordial terms with him, particularly because the fact that my particular Hawk, the warrior, took a hard line on Magus, even sent his own sister into become a circle mage. Bethany did not die in the final battle. She managed to survive and even took my side as I sided with the Templars, which we'll see. Merrill did not destroy the Illuvian. I do want to change a little bit of that up. So Merrill's clan was killed. Yeah, Merrill did not stay with Hawk. Made Talus angry. recruited self-righteous Sebastian, etc. Both neither the mage for other reasons approve. It's kind of ironic in this case. In my mage playthrough, uh, yeah, neither approved of obviously the destruction of the chantry, but for different reasons. But the mage killed my mage hawk killed Anders as if to I guess appease the masses. In this case, I said, Anders, you got to somehow make good on this. You need to somehow pay off the debt you've incurred by killing all those people. And so I kept him alive as penance. Act 2. Some differences. Saved a different son. Sided with Varnal against the Kunari. I didn't help Patrice just because she was kind of nutty, kind of like Cullen. Javaris is alive and well. Fainril was made tranquil because my hawk just thought magic was pretty dangerous, and I killed the Arashok in single combat. And didn't kill the Gasgard. Yes. Prologue, I sided with the mercenaries instead of the thieves. The legacy, I sided with the oddly enough, with the warden mage as opposed to the warrior one, the old warrior. And crucially, in Act 3, of course, this whole Nuncio thing never happened because Zevran was dead. Nathaniel died as well. I sided with the Templars. And I handed the conspirators to Meredith and killed the dragon. Bone Pit. It's all good. And of course, in siding with the Templars, obviously, I set a different precedent for things as opposed to siding with the Magus. So all in all, there are some similarities, but some things are very different. To recap a bit. Not a cordial relationship with Morrigan, quite hostile. Some of the major things, at least. In this particular playthrough, much more friendly. Oh, yes, allowed Logain to sacrifice himself because, just thought, give him a chance, right? And without going through the ritual. And I survived as a warden. I did kill the architect. That could be an important difference, I think. And yeah, obviously romanced Lyanna, and some had some sort of dalliance with Alistair. The similarity, of course, is they both, Alistair and Nora, have a political marriage going, but I don't know how important that is. We'll see. Now, as far as Dragon Age 2, once again, Hawk, male warrior, much more sympathetic towards the Templar cause than the Mage cause. Romance Isabella, and yeah, ultimately sided with the Templars over the Mages, but managed to save his sister's ass, despite all of it. So yeah, it is different enough, I think, especially with the God Baby thing. Obviously, that's very different. Not being on good terms with Morrigan, who didn't have the God Baby, and Hawk siding with the Templars, and finally, of course, having killed the Architect. I mean, this is me just speculating, obviously, but it seems to me, logically at least, that the three most important aspects of, maybe four if I include the Corypheus thing, the four most important aspects of the background story or history going into Dragon Age Inquisition are going to be, whether or not you had the Godchild, or somehow Morgan had the Godchild in this playthrough with a female dwarf rogue, commoner rogue, did not. Like I said, hostile terms, stabbed Morgan, didn't like her, being a selfish bitch. Killed the Architect because, frankly, he was just too dangerous. And remember, he was the one responsible for causing, ultimately, let's think back on the history of the story. If you recall correctly, the Architect, in his quest for, quote-unquote, saving the Darkspawn, woke up the Archdemon from its slumber and caused the Fifth Blight. So, didn't think it was a good idea to keep the Architect around in this particular playthrough. So, key difference. art and art origins. Architect slain. I mean, there are other minor things. I'm talking about the major things. Architect slain, God baby never came into existence. And of course, the big key difference in here is that my hawk was war inside it with the Templars. And Legacy chose a different path with regards to that. You can see found Malcolm's will and unable to fully trust Larius. Hawk supported Jenica's theory and worked with her to free the imprisoned Darkspawn. For whatever reason, I was convinced at the time, and I went with that. So yeah, those are some critical differences, I think. The critical differences, apart from the minor stuff. No God baby. I mean, Logain's dead. Didn't kill the architect. And Hawk sided with the Templars, as well as a different outcome with Corypheus. So, my only concern with this is the world state, right? So there's one, and then there's a default world state. I just want to make sure that when I'm alternating between the playthroughs, there's nothing too confusing. Frankly, I have no idea how it transitions into the game itself, and I guess it'll just all be connected through Origin. But default world state, I believe, is still my old one. Ta-da! Yes, it is. That is correct. So everything is correct here. And you can see the critical differences, of course. The architect is still alive. The God baby is, yeah, Morgan had a God baby, old God baby with the warden. Everyone's still alive. Playing a male was not lovers with Alistair. Defeating Flemeth, that's the same. The critical difference is the God baby. Logain is still alive as well. Presumably in the warden thing. And of course with the witch hunt I went with Morgan. So that's interesting. Might want to find out what happens to the warden after that. Stone prisoner. Yeah. Let's change that up a bit. Yeah. Amelia's possessed. That's weird, but whatever. Wait a second. Did that not go through? Yeah, that went through. No image, though. So yeah, the major difference, God baby and Architect still alive. Hero, obviously a mage, sympathetic to the mages, sided with, curiously enough, with the warrior, and so on. So yeah, those are some of the critical differences. I mean, it's kind of odd to think of how much of an impact all this is going to have on the forthcoming game. These little things, whether or not you fed the prisoner in the prologue of Origins or not, or what have you. But yeah, it's going to be interesting nonetheless, and I hope at least that all this bears some fruit, and we'll see. So, and let me just double check one last time with the new World State 1. Okay, so those are the two backgrounds I have, and like I said, the plan is to have very different characters, different classes, etc., different races, to be played in Dragon Age Inquisition, so we can get since I and you, the viewer, can get a very different perspective whilst playing through, choosing different kinds of answers, making different kinds of decisions, that sort of thing, and that way we can experience the full spectrum of the game and keep that thing interesting, which I'm sure it's going to be since it's brand new anyway, but we'll see. So yeah, I will see you in a bit, and as always, thanks for watching. Everyone take care. Bye-bye.